Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Cali, Colombia, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. We made it back from our jungle birthday experience.
Excellent.
Excellent. Late at night.
What time did you arrive?
10:30. I was very agitated. I'm a little agitated this
Why?
morning. I'm just going to put that out there.
Is it the
First
dog?
of all, I'm doing the show in a bathroom.
That's okay.
And this would never happen at Kaustubha. And sadly, this is the second time I've done the show in the bathroom. I don't know if it says something about me in a good way or a bad way. Like, he's really dedicated. But we're in the same house, and we can't let our mics bleed into each other. So I'm upstairs in a bathroom, live, with Rachel, who's on screen and on her phone. What the hell? She's doing retreat stuff. Right.
She's serving, Robert.
She's organizing this whole retreat today.
Yeah, we definitely aren't.
Next time, you just get in the bathtub and do your retreat stuff. And Bunky's here in the back somewhere.
So why are you so disturbed this morning? What's the problem?
You know, I've had dog issues my whole life. That's why I'm a cat person. You know, I was attacked by a dog at 5 years old. That left some scar in my mind. A big German Shepherd punctured my butt when I was 5 years old. I was getting a wiffle ball bat between neighborhood yards, and the dog just tore him. Bit right in the butt.
But nothing's happened since then.
Well, then one time that was 5 years old. 8 years old, I'm in the outfield with, like, you know, when you play baseball when you're a kid and there's like 20 people on one team. I'm in the outfield with a million other people. And then there is a dirty mutt collie on home plate. And out of all the people, the mutt collie is looking me right in the eye. And I'm like looking around. I was like, me? And the collie's like, yes, you.
I don't think so. You were in the outfield. That was probably just your imagination.
No, he was looking right at me. And then he started like digging his paw in the ground like a bull. And he charged right out to center field. Out of all the people, he goes right after me and starts attacking me. No, everybody was laughing, and I was hitting him with my mitt. It was the most traumatic experience. It was.
You gotta let that go. Right?
You know how kids don't even help; they just laugh. And that was another traumatic dog experience. And then one time, third time, pedaling up a massive hill. You know, when you're little, before there were gears on bikes. Our generation didn't have gears. Pedaling up some massive hill, a dog attacked me going up the hill. I was already exhausted going up the hill. And I was like, no, I can't do this. Please, I can't. And now there is like an attack dog here on the property. We're staying off the property right now for whatever. I'm sleeping here. And there's like a dog. We're staying in this bizarre mansion. Like, do you see it's behind me? If you're on YouTube or Zoom, there is a vault. There's a vault behind
Pablo
me.
Escobar torture room, I call it.
Yeah, there's it's a bizarre. I mean, it's
dentist,
cool.
There's a dentist chair in there.
It's the dentist chair in there. It's a bizarre like dome room. Anyway, This is
Well, you know,
the
Raghunath,
Maha squirrel.
when I was like 15, I was playing, just kicking around a soccer ball in Tompkins Square Park, right under Prabhupada's tree.
Are you okay?
What? No, I'm not allowed to tell stories. It's okay. You're like, are you going to tell a story about a dog?
Well, I'm just saying the scarring stuff happens.
But this is what I'm going to tell you.
7.
That's the whole reason why I'm bringing. Well, those weren't all pre-age 7, but in any case, you know, do you remember that old man that used to walk around with like a herd of dogs? In Tompkins
Yes, the
Square
dog.
Park?
The dog
I'm sure
man.
Louis remember
The dog
Louis,
man.
the dog man, and so
Like he had like 16 dogs he's walking around with.
and maybe not that many, but he had like maybe like 9 or something like that. Yeah, and so I was playing with Harley Flanagan, and Harley kicked the ball towards the dog, towards the man,
Big
and I
mistake.
went running to get the ball, but when I was running to get the ball, the dogs interpreted as if I were running at the dog man, and suddenly I had that whole herd of dogs. What do you call a group of dogs?
A pack.
A pack. I had a whole pack of dogs.
Pack of wolves.
Yeah, and they were all snarling, and one of them got me on the leg. You know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
Did he
I
break-
don't hold it again. I let it go. He broke the skin.
Yeah, I don't hold it. I don't let it go.
You got to let it go. You're only suffering because of it, Raghunath. It's time.
I can't
to let
move
it go.
forward. I just decided I'm a cat person now.
No, you don't have to be like that.
And you know what? And also that crew we hung out with, they always train pit bulls to be mean, you know? So like pit bulls especially, I'm a little fearful of.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. Even though they say pit bulls can be the sweetest of dogs.
and they can be.
I never knew this, but Pete from the Little Rascals was a pit bull. Did you know that?
Okay. I think we got it. This has been a squirrel. I've jumped on it.
Mara is like,
Guilty
where are
as
they
charged.
going with this?
Yeah, guilty as
Where
charged.
what's going? Where Kaustubha bring him?
Why don't we look into announcements and then nuggets, and
Okay.
then Bhagavatam? How's that sound?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Marriage, any
Yeah.
announcements?
We have a Bhakti recovery group meeting at noon today. And then tomorrow evening at 5:30 is Fun Day Friday Fun Day with Jamuna Jaya. So it's an asana class for Patreon members at 5:30 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay. You there, Raghu? You still with us?
Alrighty.
Sean Murphy,
Yeah, I'm
Vegan
here.
Trucker,
Can you hear
says
me?
Sean Murphy, Vegan Trucker, says he just saw a
Yeah.
post on Facebook of that guy with those dogs. I know that, yeah. I saw that too. Raghu, I can't hear you. Hey, Raghu, I can't hear you. Okay, we're gonna have to get Raghu back. I don't know why he froze up on us, but maybe what I will do is I will just break out the nuggets until we get him back. And these are more. Oh, Raghu's back. Okay,
Back. I'm back.
you're back. You ready? We're ready to dig into the
Yeah.
nuggets.
Yeah, ready for the nug?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good one.
Focus. Take a deep breath. Focus. Deliver these well, because these take some concentration.
Okay. Ready for this wordsmithing from Confucius?
Okay.
Not to discuss with a man worthy of conversation is to waste the man. You understand what that means?
I believe
It's
I
like
do.
if there's a person who's worthy to talk to and you don't talk to him, that's a waste of a man.
What a missed opportunity when some great
Yeah.
soul is there and you don't.
He says, any questions? Like he gives a class, any
Yeah.
questions? And you go, no questions. That's when you ask the question. So Confucius says, not to discuss with a man worthy of conversation is to waste the man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's another one. To discuss a man not worthy of conversation is to waste words.
Let's say that again, because I think you blipped out for a second there. Say that again.
To discuss with a man not worthy of conversation is to waste words.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people just aren't worth conversation. They're going to take it to dark places, to mundane subject matters.
Gramya kata.
Gramya kata, that's called. I love that
Prajalpa.
word. Do you know that?
Maybe-
Put that word on the board. That's our Sanskrit goodie of the day. What do we call this? Sanskrit grammar goodies?
Gramya kata means
Glossary
what?
goodies.
What does Gramya kata mean?
Gramya means like the village, like Nandagram means the village of Nanda.
Okay.
Gramya kata means village talk.
Okay.
And you know who speaks village talk? Village people.
Yeah. Okay. Don't sing any songs. Keep moving with Confucius here, right?
The carpenter and the Native American, they always speak.
You know, I'll tell you something. The cowboy lived. I don't think he lives there anymore, but he lived
In your building?
He lived in 26 Second Avenue, which was where Prabhupada's very first temple was. He lived, in that building, and he used to come down to the programs that we used to have in 26 Second Avenue.
Dressed as a cowboy?
No, he was not dressed as a cowboy.
How did you recognize him not dressed as a cowboy?
I think he told us he was the cowboy,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're like, we don't believe you.
Then he could prove it, do the dance.
Yeah.
Okay, so not to discuss with a man worthy of conversation is to waste the man. To discuss with a man not worthy of conversation is to waste words.
The wise waste neither men nor words.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
I think it's a real solid nugget. We spill out words. We think, wise people, they don't waste words, They begin to lose the taste for just blabbing on about nothing. Yeah, bringing down the atmosphere.
Is that a pointed statement? Okay.
Pointed at who?
No, but
I turned around. I pointed at myself.
No, but it's true. They become a little silent, less blabby, more silent, more introspective. And when they do speak, it's usually something substantial.
I think we have to pray for the blessing to lose interest in Gramya Kata. Note that one down there. Right?
Pray for the blessing. Yeah.
Pray for the blessing to lose interest in it.
Okay, I'm going to ask everybody for their homework today is to use the word Gramya Kata in a sentence during the course of your day to somebody.
All right.
Like go visit your mom. Hey, Mom, no Gramya Kata today, please. I'm trying to have a substantial life. Okay, here's one. Ready? Even 4 harnessed horses cannot bring imprudent words back into the mouth. Mara, let's see if Mara knows what imprudent is.
I bet she does.
You know that word, Mara? Did they teach you that in private school?
Of course they did. It's not showing care for the consequences of an action.
Pretty good.
So we speak without thinking about the consequences of the words that we speak.
Even 4 harnessed horses cannot bring imprudent words back into the mouth. You mean this is part of controlling the tongue. Mm-hmm. Just blabbing out stupid things, and then next thing you know, you've ruined a relationship. You broke someone's heart. You've wrecked a relationship with your teenager, with your parents. Just one stupid thing out of our whole body. This little thing is so small; it can cause so much damage.
Good point.
I know.
It's look at Daksha, right? He just started mouthing off.
Mouthing off.
You can't bring it back, and now the destruction's coming, and there's no.
Next thing you know, you got a head of a goat.
That's right. All right.
Some people. Okay.
Why don't we just end it there? We got more Confucius ones, but I think that's plenty for today, huh?
All right. Okay.
You think?
Yeah, and they're very timely. They have to do with, hearing wisdom and speaking, speaking foolishness. And we're getting into the story of Daksha from the 4th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, whose praise with transcendental songs will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers have opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Hit it, Mara.
Reading from the 4th canto, chapter 4, text 20.
Okay. What's
We
happening?
had a few. This would never happen at Kaustubha.
Hold. You see that right there is called last minute squirrel. Okay, we're just about to get into Bhagavatam and you divert. So let's bring it back. Text 20. Text 20.
Chapter we on?
Chapter
4, right?
4.
Okay.
Canto
text
4,
20.
chapter 4, text 20.
That's yeah.
That's called last second squirrel.
The last second squirrel. You know, it's interesting. It's a phenomenon.
Here we go. This is one itself.
It's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Last second squirrels.
Last second
In the
squirrel.
Vedas, there are directions for two kinds of activities. Activities for those who are attached to material enjoyment and activities for those who are materially detached. In consideration of these two kinds of activities, there are two kinds of people who have different symptoms. If one wants to see two kinds of activities in one person, that is contradictory. But both kinds of activities may be neglected by a person who is transcendentally situated. What?
Okay.
You
So
would give that a big what. Can you explain that, Kaustubha?
yeah. So now we have the beautiful young Sati, all right, daughter of Daksha, wife of Lord Shiva, who has now gone back to her home where her father, who is an offender to Lord Shiva, does not receive her well. And she knows what the cause of this is. It's his animosity towards her beloved husband, the great Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, you know what they say about Lord Shiva, Raghunath?
He's
Beside
easily
the-
angered.
That's one
He's
thing.
silent. Yeah.
One thing is that you've been told by astrologers and palm readers that he's your protector, right?
He's my protector in this life.
Yeah.
Saves me from dangerous situations. I cannot be killed or harmed.
So then why are you afraid of this dog when you have Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva's got your back.
It's a good point.
Okay.
You know, those are some, you know, it's like from previous lives, you know, you get some samskara. I also have ocean samskaras.
Okay.
I dream, Mara knows this, once a week, I have a dream of massive waves. I think I left my body in the ocean.
Okay.
I freak out a little bit.
All right.
So these are all left. These are impressions in the mind. Dogs,
They're deep.
waves.
They're deep. Now Sati is she's had enough, and now she's speaking. So we were talking yesterday. It's just a beautiful way that Vyasadeva is framing the different messages in the Bhagavatam. He's got like an unlimited knowledge of Puranic events and so on. He's choosing the best ones to help us understand different messages. And so now the message deliverer is Sati. But it's not coming in that typical, enlightened sage sitting down calmly speaking truth style. It's coming through, righteous anger, rage.
Many ways to learn lessons.
Yeah. And so, everything she's speaking, it's, generally when we speak in rage, it all kind of untruths and illusions manifest through that talk, but hers is like a truly righteous anger. And so she's telling her father that you are so respected and you got all these followers and they're just flatterers to you. And you think you're important and you think that you're better than others. You even think you're better than Lord Shiva. You're so wrong. And your animosity that you're holding towards him is totally on a superficial level. But your offense is a very deep one, and it hurts me right to the core of my heart so deeply that I can't even stand being in your presence. And she's going to start to say, we're going to read today, I can't stand to have a body that came from your body. Right?
That's like the biggest insult ever, huh?
That's heavy. And but note, he's not apologizing. He's stubborn, right? He's become hardened by his feelings of superiority. And now she's saying to him, she's saying, let's read it again. In the Vedas, there are directions for two kinds of activities: pavritim and nivritim. Pavriti marg, nivriti marg. You're familiar with that, Raghu?
Yep. Mary, you should put those on the board too. These are more Sanskrit glossary goodies.
Yeah.
Pavrita and Nivrita.
So Pavrita means the path of Pavrita Marga, you could say, is the path of
of enjoying or of taking
Yeah.
it through the senses and enjoying
Material
the
enjoyment.
senses. And you get some
And-
lessons there,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. And Nivritam.
Is renunciation.
Okay. So this is interesting, and this is something that it's worth considering deeply. We've all been exposed to different types of religious thought and so on. Usually what we hear is, this is sinful, it's bad, don't do it. And it's kind of as simple as that. The Vedic teachings are more nuanced than that. They're going to provide teachings for some people that think like this. They're going to provide other teachings for people that think like this, and they recognize that a person can mature and go through gradations of teachings. So some people, when they wake up and they look at the world and they think, I want to enjoy this world, even though I believe in God, even though I have trust in the sacred texts, I'm still at a place in my life where I just want to enjoy this world. Is there a righteous way I can do that? Is there a holy way I can do it? Is there a way I can do that where I cultivate good karma and good reactions and enjoyment, and I minimize bad karma and bad reactions and suffering? And so that's called the Pravriti Marg, right? My path that the instructions that I'm following from this larger Vedic literature are helping me enjoy this world, like that. The Nivritti Marg, that's from the same books or other books within the larger collection of books, Vedic books. You get teachings that are like, no, don't even bother trying to enjoy this world. Don't you recognize that this world is a place of suffering? Don't you realize that it's a big trap? And even when you're following the sacred teachings about how to enjoy it, you're still stuck in cycles of birth and death. And there's ultimately really no escaping suffering in this world.
It
what you need
really
to do is
takes
escape the world.
It really takes a lot of insight to get that. You got to get to this next level of like, no, there's nothing for my soul on this planet. We had this great weekend, right? And we got away. And there was one point in the trip where it was like, materially speaking, I was like, this is the most ideal situation I could probably be in. I'm with really nice people, really good quality people, right? It was like a jungle, like you've never seen a jungle. Thank you. It was like a jungle like you've never seen it. And there were just like layers of pools of waterfalls dripping down.
Okay. Sounds great.
Okay. It was pristine. And you could practically drink this water, and there's tropical plants growing. It's like you were in the Home Depot plant department of these
That
tropical
good, huh?
plants. It's that beautiful. And it was just like, and it was hot out and everybody was pleasant and it was gorgeous. And they were slipping. You could slide down these slides into the other pool.
I heard the water was warm too, the ocean water.
The ocean water was going right into the ocean. It was beautiful. It was charming. It was wonderful. Mara, guess what I'm going to say about this? Mara will know.
Big deal.
That's it. I was like, it doesn't get better than this. Big deal. That's the material world. And I was just like, not only big deal, Mara, but big deal. And this is going to be over soon. And then I'm going to go back to some other situation where the three kleshas are sort of agitating me. It's too hot. It's too cold. It's raining. I'm hungry. I'm starving. I'm full. I'm bloated. Whatever it be. I'm saying it really boils down to when you start to analyze the world of this is all temporary. Even in the highest place, it's like big deal. And therefore, the upside of big deal is even a torturous situation is momentary. This is also momentary. And there has to be a connection with spirit in the highs and the lows, because the sensual experience is just big deal. It's going to be over. It's all temporary. It's always changing. Big deal. Now, what did that have to do with what you were talking about?
Because that's the shift from Pavritim Marg to Nivritti Marg. That's, I get it. We should become materially exhausted. We need to reach a point. And that point, it may feel like melancholy, but it's like bittersweet, right? When you begin to realize, you know what? I'm not meant here to just try to enjoy through the senses. Ultimately disappoints. It's bitter, but it's actually opening up a door to like letting it all go. So that's called nivritti marg, right? I no longer want to try to enjoy this world. I want to transcend this world. Now, in the four Vedas, you get those pravritti marg kind of teachings, and in the Upanishads, it's more like the nivritti marg. Let it all go. Come on, transcend. Now, bhakti is beyond both of them, and that's what. So what? The daughter is giving a lecture to the big religious leader, right? But she's speaking the wisdom from the sacred text that he is apparently meant to represent and live. And she's saying that those, the books that you're into, the Vedic literatures, they have teachings for people that are materially attached but want to be pious, like you, right? And then there's other teachings that are for people that want to let all that go. But what you don't realize, Dad, when you're criticizing Lord Shiva, is that he's beyond both. And you don't even, so she said, but both kinds of activities may be neglected by a person who is transcendentally situated. Why don't we read the purport?
This is another setup for another Raghunathism, which is, do you know this one, Mara? When you want to enjoy the material world?
Think it through?
Yep. Mara's boom, 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 boom. Think it through. Okay, you want to enjoy material life? Go ahead, do it. Enjoy it. Think it through, though. That think it through mantra has saved me from big mistakes.
Very good.
Think it through. When you want to enjoy the material world, think the whole damn thing through.
Where does it lead?
Where does it actually lead?
And also just like what we're saying earlier, what Confucius was saying, before you speak, think it through. Because once it's out, horses can't drag it back.
Even horses can't drag it back. Four harnessed horses can't drag it back. Okay. Text 21.
No. Purport.
Purport of text 20. Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
All right. Think it through. In the
Vedic activities are
so designed that the conditioned soul who has come to enjoy the material world may do so under the direction, so that at the end he becomes detached from such material enjoyment and is eligible to enter into the transcendental position.
So the Vedas teach how to go from pravritti marg to nivritti marg and eventually let go of everything. It gives a lifestyle that one can follow.
Yeah, there's that verse, I think in the 5th chapter, Bahunam Janmamante. How do you get into bhakti? After many births and deaths. After many births and deaths, say the English of that? After many births and deaths, one who's in full knowledge of me accepts me as the cause of all causes and all that is. You got to get to this point where like, I'm over it. There's nothing of this world that will satisfy my heart. And sometimes you think like, this person will get into bhakti. This person's really cool. They'll get into bhakti. Not necessarily. It takes births and deaths of being over it.
Gotta get over
it.
Right?
To get that Krishna is the cause of all causes and all that is. And such a great soul is very rare. Okay.
And then even in this one life, they're laid out in the Vedic literature are social orders, different stages of life, each with its own duties, with its own dharmas, right? Meant to bring us in that progression that we start to let go of everything.
Now you're thinking like Prabhupada. Prabhupada's going to say that right now.
Well, that's why I'm not thinking like I'm reading it. I'm following him.
Now you're reading like Prabhupada wrote. The 4 different social orders: brahmacarya, right? That's the celibate monk. Gṛhastha, that's the religious householder. Vānaprastha, that's sort of retirement. And sannyāsa, that means like just wandering off into
renunciation.
Yeah. Gradually train a person to come to the platform of the transcendental life. The activities and dress of gṛhasthas, or householders, are different from those of a sannyāsi, one in the renounced order of life.
Okay, let's just discuss this and try to understand why Prabhupada's talking about this.
The activities and dress of a gṛhastha.
So dress is just one example, and then activities are broad, but it's saying, you see, when you look at these 4, brahmacharya, again, that's the celibate student, right? And then there's gṛhastha. That's the person that's more materially enjoying, right? There's money, independence, sex, pleasures of family life, comforts of home, like that. it's more of a time that's, and the Dharma of the gṛhastha allows for that, right? Whereas like when you're a brahmachari, you're young, there's no sex, you have no home, you live in the home of the guru, you do what they tell you. You know, it's kind of a very surrendered, renounced life. Then but you're gaining teachings, you're gaining knowledge. Then you become the gṛhastha, you become the householder, and you can flirt a bit. That's the pavrta marg.
Flirt,
Yeah,
you said?
You flirt
with the material world, flirt with Maya.
Exactly. You know, it's controlled though. I say flirt because it's not like there's sex, but there's not like uncontrolled sex. There's like, it's limited to the spouse and so on. And there's responsibility that you accept with it, the responsibility to raise the children and care for them and provide for them, you know. And so then husband and wife, they follow their duties. They enjoy the material world, the pavrta marg. But also, because they were studying that knowledge as a brahmachari, they're beginning to recognize, exactly as you were saying, Raghunath, right? They're beginning to recognize, so what, right? As they're getting older, you know.
Big deal.
We've had sex, okay, it was great, so what? You know, we got money and we bought a house. It provided comforts. It was enjoyable, but ultimately, so what?
So what?
You know? And you know, we've raised kids and we've had the enjoyment, the joy of embracing our children and watching them grow and feeling their love.
And the pain that goes with that as well.
That's exactly my point.
There's loss of a kid or sickness of a kid or the kid's gone evil, whatever it is.
Kid's gone evil?
Sometimes that happens.
Okay. They go rogue.
Some of you listening to the show went evil on your parents.
And so, you know, there's so much anxiety and stress that comes with it. So as they're growing older and they're approaching their 40s, now the kids are grown up. You know, if they had the kids in the 20s, as they hit their 40s, the kids are grown up. They're preparing for retirement. The duties, you see, part of the gṛhastha duty too is that you're caring for your parents because you're the ones that are making money, you know. So there's dharmas there's duties that are related to each of these. Then you enter vānaprastha. You're not working anymore because your kids are supporting you. You're not having sex anymore. You've let go of that part of life. Husband and wife are retired and they're fully absorbing themselves in spiritual practice, right? So now they're renouncing again. They're renouncing sex. They're renouncing money. They're renouncing the material drive. And then that leads to the final stage of life, sannyāsa, where the husband wanders off. He goes, you know, he goes off to the forest, you know, completely renounced. And the wife stays at home, cared for by her children, but also living a life of intense renunciation, you know, just there's nothing now but, you know, and you see this in India still, right? Like, I'll tell you what, you know, where Radha Damodar, the deities that I worship in my home, where they were made, was in Jaipur.
Yeah. Jaipur is used to be called the Paris of the East in the old days.
Did they? They called it that?
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful city. And of course, it's all centered around that Radha Govindaji Mandir, the Radha Govinda temple, which is off the charts. Cool temple.
You know, on a side squirrel. Somebody told me that when they were like, when Indira Gandhi took away all the power of the kings, they were saying, you are free. You no longer have to listen to these, or the British were like, you don't have to listen to these kings anymore. Now you are free. You're like, free from what? We're like living like, this is like the best.
Love it. Yeah.
Like, we love it here.
We go to the
love
palace
our
every
king.
day and we sing and we dance in front of Radha Govinda.
It's like the most beautiful life. Yes. Okay,
so also in Jaipur, it's known for going there to get the carved marble deities, right? A lot of the most beautiful deities all around the world now were carved. And I went to the actual place where like the top, you know, Pandey and Sons, right? And you know, I went there at one point, and then I went there like years later, and the old man who had carved that man that had carved, you know, Radhasham Sundar and Krishna Balaram and Vrindavan, you know, and I could just go through all the temples around the world that he personally carved them, you know, right? That old man, he was sitting out front. He had these big glasses that look like yours right now, but they like had that super thick Coke bottle.
Glasses, love those.
Super thick. You could see he was almost blind. You know, probably from like decades and decades of like fine detailed carving, right? And his sons were running the business. What's he doing? He's sitting outside in front of the shop, and he's got a japa mala in his hand, right? He's got his beads. And what does he do all day? He just sits there happily, peacefully, chants these names. That's vānaprastha, or that's sannyāsa. You know, like I was going to say, at the sannyāsa stage, the man leaves home and he goes off into the forest, just depending on God. The wife stays at home, cared for children, but she becomes like that super renunciate. All she does is chant, right? All she does is, read Bhagavatam and chant. It's like, I have nothing, full attraction. I'm no longer concerned about comforts, what to speak of sex and money. Those thoughts are long gone, right? And now she let it all go and deeply absorbed in spiritual life. So these social orders were meant to bring us that way. Prabhupada is saying they each have different dress and different activities, but the dress and the activities, they're all meant to cultivate renunciation. Even in the gṛhastha point, or even, it's meant to gradually bring you to letting go of everything material. And so therefore we follow the rules and the dharmas very strictly because they work. It's a path that leads to letting go. If you follow it right, it works. But the point being made here by Sati is that, Dad, you don't really get it. Those rules have a purpose. They're all meant to lead to deep spiritual, ultimately Krishna consciousness. But you think you're kind of just like caught up in the rules and the externals as if they were all in all. Therefore, you criticize Lord Shiva. What you don't get is Lord Shiva and myself, we're beyond all that. We don't need to follow the rules because the rules are meant to bring you to where we already are. But you're just so blind because of your pride that you've lost the essence. That's the message she's making to him.
Should I continue or should we go to the next verse?
Okay, why don't we go to the next verse?
All right.
Text 21.
21. My dear Father, the opulence we possess is impossible for either you or your flatterers to imagine. For persons who engage in fruitive activities by performing great sacrifices are concerned with satisfying their bodily necessities by eating foodstuff offered as sacrifice. We can exhibit our opulence simply by desiring to do so. This can be achieved only by great personalities who are renounced, self-realized souls.
Just picture this, right? Like she says, my dear Father, the opulence that we possess, me and Lord Shiva, is impossible for either you, and then she's looking around like at all his followers, right? Or your flatterers to imagine, right? Like imagine how they must have felt, because like in one sense they have to respect her because she's Daksha's daughter.
Right.
But she's just like getting right in their face and like fearlessly just like letting them, speaking the truth right in their face about them. It's like they're getting dressed down.
Yeah, it's humiliating here. You are an offender at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. And unfortunately, I have a body produced from yours. I am very much ashamed of our bodily relationship. And I condemn myself because my body is contaminated by a relationship with a person who is an offender at the lotus feet of the greatest personality. She really loved her husband. It was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And not just because he was her husband, but he's Lord Shiva. This is what I was going to say before. What they say about Lord Shiva is that, there are different, what we call tattvas, there are different categories of truth, or you could say like different categories of beings. Like there's Vishnu tattva, right?
Yeah.
So Vishnu tattva means that the category of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. It means, like, for instance, Krishna is there in his sweet baby Krishna form. Yeah. He's the cowherd boy. He's the cause of all causes. But he expands into different forms. He becomes Lord Ram. He becomes Lord Vishnu. When it's Krishna in a different form with all his power, that's called Vishnu tattva. And then, like, we are called Jiva tattva, right? We are Krishna's energy. But we're separate and we have our own individual consciousness and we don't have the powers that Krishna has. We're very limited in our power.
Put it on the board, Mara. Jiva tattva, Vishnu tattva.
Now there's
Vishnu tattva is the body is the same as the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And Jiva tattva is we have bodies, but the bodies deteriorate and we witness that.
That's right. Although ultimately Jiva tattva can exist in its own svarupa, its own spiritual form, but currently, these jivas stuck in the material world, right?
Good point here.
Then there's Shakti tattva, which is the feminine energy of God that manifests as the different goddesses. Right? Now, Lord Shiva, most of the demigods are Jiva tattva, right? They're like us, but they're just in a very high post and a very high
They
position.
still lose their body.
Yeah, right. And they're granted more power than we currently have.
Higher level managers.
That's right. But Lord Shiva, although he's counted amongst the devas, he's called Mahadeva, the greatest of the devas, because he is in this very unusual, he has a tattva of his own. He literally is in a category of his own.
Yeah.
Right? Where he is Lord Vishnu, but not Lord Vishnu. Right.
They say it's like what milk is to yogurt. It is milk, but it's completely different than milk. Right? Like even in Ayurveda, milk heats and yogurt cools. So it's like it's actually a different food, but it's the same food.
It's a subtle transformation. Yogurt is a subtle, but due to the one ingredient, like the bacteria, right, the culture that's dropped into the milk, it is milk, but it's somehow very different from milk. And that is Lord Shiva. He is Lord Vishnu, but just due to some contact with the material energy, he is Vishnu, but he's not Vishnu. And so they say, what is said is that Shiva Tattva is very difficult to understand. Like we could talk about it, but it would be very difficult for us to understand it, what to speak of, explain it. It's something very subtle, but he's a very, very special being. And he may appear to be wild, he may appear to be tamasic, and that's the way that Daksha's judging him. He sees those extra. You don't seem to be following what a gṛhastha is meant to be dressed like. Well, you don't seem to be following all the duties and the behavior that a gṛhastha is supposed to be doing. So I condemn you, I criticize you, I envy you, I bear hostility towards you. And now she's enlightening her father. You don't get it. He's way beyond all that.
His daughter's always trying to enlighten their fathers.
Just kidding. She had him though.
Okay. Next verse. Alrighty. 23. Because of our family relationship, when Lord Shiva addresses me as Dakshayani, right, the daughter of Daksha. Dakshayani, the daughter of Daksha, I at once become morose, and my jolliness and my smile at once disappear. Oh. You like my dramatical readings? I'm sort of changing my style up a little.
Do it a little bit more. Do it in a feminine voice.
Oh, okay. I feel very much sorry for that. My body, which is just like a bag, has been produced by you. I shall therefore give it up.
I think she's got more anger, like the more righteous anger, Raghunath. You call that a dramatic reading? That sounded like you were reading like some children's book or something. Come on, she's angry. She's furious. She's about to kill herself right in front of her father. She just told him, I become a roast because people say I'm associated with you. I'm disgusted with my body because it's connected with you. I'm about to light it on fire. Let's get a little bit more drama going here, Raghu.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Well, that's done. She's done talking. She's done. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Go back to sage level 3. That was sage level 4.
Maitreya the sage told Vidura, O annihilator of the enemies, while thus speaking to her father in the arena of the sacrifice.
How did Maitreya become some kind of creepy?
He's old.
That doesn't make him creepy.
He's not creepy. He's an old, wise being.
But he was saying it like there was some kind of intrigue going on or something like that.
While thus, just hear it. While thus speaking to her father in the arena of the sacrifice, Sati sat down on the ground and faced north. Dressed in saffron garments, she sanctified herself with water and closed her eyes to absorb herself in the process of mystic yoga. Okay, side note here, or side question. She put on like renunciation garments, or her sari that she was wearing to this festive event happened to be saffron, the color of a renunciate. Did she do a quick change? All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to put on some renunciate clothes. Or was she just showing up like she looks great in saffron?
I really don't know. I can check Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to see if he mentions anything.
Well, the purport says, it said that when a man desires to quit his body, he dresses in saffron garments.
So maybe she just wrapped a saffron cloth around her. Maybe she... I mean, it's hard to imagine that she said, just everybody wait right here. And then,
I was reading, and I share this story with, I was reading in one of these books on the Rajasthan Rajput warriors that when they knew they were going to get defeated,
they put on saffron.
They put on saffron in battle. They just put on saffron like they were like monks, put tulsi in their mouth and just rode right into battle.
That is awesome.
Isn't that romantic? We're going down and we're going to do it with the tulsi in my mouth.
Okay. In other words, in a sense, they take sannyāsa, they just renounce everything right there and go.
Yeah, and go. Yeah. Okay.
But who knows? Maybe someone had a saffron chudder and she just wrapped it around herself or something. I can't imagine she walked off and came back, right?
Give me your saffron chudder.
Give me your
Why?
saffron chudder.
And I'm not going to give it back. It's going to be on fire in a moment. All right, next verse.
She's doing the mystic yoga now. This is the spontaneous human combustion part coming up.
Okay.
This is how you do it.
First of all, this is how you do it. You want to learn how to spontaneously combust? We got you covered here on Wisdom of the Sages. Matter of fact, we're going to give a class on Patreon. For Patreon members, there's going to be a spontaneous combustion class at noon tomorrow.
Any volunteers?
How did it go? They're all gone. It went really well.
Unfortunately, we lost our whole Patreon sponsorship.
We lost our entire
It all went up in
community.
flames.
First of all, she sat in the required sitting posture. So note to the self, there's a required sitting posture if you want spontaneous combustion. Mm-hmm. And then she carried the life air upwards and placed it in the position of equilibrium near the navel.
First is at the navel.
All right. Then she raised her life air, mixed it with intelligence. What? To the heart, and then gradually towards the pulmonary passage. Okay. What's that? The pulmonary passage.
It's like the throat area, right?
Mara,
pulmonary.
It has to do with the lungs.
Oh, the lungs. Okay.
Yeah.
The lungs. All right. Pulmonary. I thought it was heart. And from there, between the eyebrows.
Up higher still. Okay.
Third eye. Mm-hmm. All right. That's it.
What do you mean that's it?
That's it.
What's it?
Gradually towards the pulmonary passage, and from there between her eyebrows. That's all I have. Do you have more than that?
Yeah, text 26.
Next verse?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you wanted
that
to
was
read.
the end of that verse, Jargo. Why is that so confusing?
Thus, in order to give up her body, which had been so respectfully and affectionately seated on the lap of Lord Shiva, who is worshipped by great saints and great sages and saints, Sati, due to anger towards her father, began to meditate on the fiery air within the body.
So it was of a special body because it had sat on the lap of Lord Shiva. It was so dear to Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
But now she's going to give it up. To the fiery air. She began to meditate on the fiery air within the body. That element is in us, right? Just like you have a log. The fire is in there. It just hasn't come out yet, right? So there's fire in the body, but she knows the yogic method of like setting it off.
Extracting it.
Yeah.
Sati concentrated all her meditation on the holy lotus feet of her husband, Lord Shiva, who is the supreme spiritual master of the world, of all the world. Mm-hmm. Thus, she became completely cleansed of all taints of sin and quit her body in a blazing fire by meditation on the fiery elements.
So it was her meditation on a pure devotee that purified her, right? When we bring our mind to great souls, it purifies us. Okay.
Be careful not to meditate on fiery elements. Oh, look how beautiful the sun is. Meditate on a candle. All right, next one.
When Sati annihilated her body
in anger, there was a tumultuous roar all over the universe. Why had Sati, the wife of the most respectable demigod, Lord Shiva, quit her body in such a manner?
Okay. Now, just for 1 second, just consider Daksha's position right now.
Awkward.
Yeah, the party's gone out of bounds here, right? Like, and he's
out of bounds.
and he's in a very awkward position because where he had this moral superiority a moment ago, suddenly he's being questioned by the entire universe. Hold it. Why would Lord Shiva's own wife commit suicide publicly like this? What could have driven her to this? Oh,
In such a dramatic way.
yeah, it was Daksha and the way that he behaved to her and his disrespect for Lord Shiva. That's what's brought about this horrible event. It's him. It's all because of him. Yeah, that's all coming down now.
It was astonishing that Daksha, who was Prajapati, meaning he was a creator
of all
of
living
progeny.
entities.
Yeah. The maintainer of all living entities, who was so disrespectful to his own daughter Sati, who was not only chaste, but was also a great soul, that she gave up her body because of this neglect.
How could a father, disrespect his daughter so much, who was such a great daughter, such a great soul?
Parenting fail.
Big time. So he seemed like such a well-mannered, well-behaved, dharmic person, but something's wrong under there, and it's become revealed now.
Daksha, who is so hard-hearted that he is unworthy to be a brahmana, will gain extensive ill fame because of his offenses to his daughter, because of not having prevented her death, and because of his great envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He could have said, no, go, I'm sorry, look, I made a big mistake, or please forgive me.
Right.
But instead, he just kept on goading her. Like, she came to the party in a very humble way. She came to that party, and he was like, whatever. He gave her a big whatever, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And
after all the things that she said, no humility, no let's sit down and discuss this more.
You know what? Let's talk this out.
No, please don't. Yeah, none of that.
There's a really like a nice thing when as a parent, when you say you're sorry, when you actually say, you know what, dad said something stupid. I say that a lot. So, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. That was not a cool thing to say. I apologize. I apologize to your mom. I apologize to you. I shouldn't. I've acted way out of bounds. I think it's good for parents to apologize to the kids.
I think so too. Now, Raghu, right now in this story, all hell is about to break loose.
When all hell breaks loose.
That's right. Cue up
Mara doesn't even know what we're talking about.
Cue up
Mara?
the Misfits because
She doesn't. Look. It's like, I don't know.
The hardcore stuff. So I think we should leave this as a cliffhanger and come back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, everyone tune in because all hell is about to break loose.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Mara,
maybe all what takeaways can break loose.
All right. It's a missed opportunity not to discuss with the great soul.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Pray for the blessing to lose interest in Grahastha.
Pray for the blessing to lose interest in village talk.
Mm-hmm. Not the village people necessarily.
No, don't lose interest in the village people.
Pray for the blessing.
Fit in that category of Grahastha.
They wrote good songs.
Okay, just don't sing any, and I'll accept what you say.
It doesn't get any better than this. Big deal.
Big deal.
Doesn't get any better than big deal.
Yeah. It's all temporary. Before you speak, think it through.
Think it through, man.
There's nothing of this world that will satisfy my heart.
Mm-mm.
The rules are meant to lead to bhakti.
Yep.
Right.
When we bring our minds to great souls, it purifies us.
It sure does.
Don't be blinded by your pride or you'll lose the essence.
Mm-hmm.
And the material world is as beautiful as the Home Depot plant department.
That's like the highest. That's the highest.
Woo! Okay, Montgomery's got something going on here this morning.
Thanks everybody for joining us here. We're back, settled in Kali, and we are ready. We are ready for all the wisdom of the sages people showing up today. Very exciting. We've got most of them are getting here this evening, so I've got a little bit of a break day today. I'm going to start a cleanse, man. I've been pigging out on a lot of Colombian food, and it's time to cleanse my soul, Mara.
Man,
I'm gonna click into renunciation mode. Nivrita Marg.
Today's Akadashi,
You-
by the way. So good day to
Perfect
start.
timing.
Yeah.
While you and Kaustubha are on your Pavrita Marg, I'll be on my Nivrita Marg.
Oh, you see, there's that pride setting in. You see that? You see?
It's actually revenge for Mara not making me a pie for my birthday.
Oh.
So I'll teach
You
her
were-
by fasting.
You wandered off. She was. She
I
couldn't
wandered
do
off
it
to
for
the
you.
jungle.
Yeah.
She knew I wanted that pie.